All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a budget BFS rod tier list. Now with this tier list, they're going to be pretty much just, ultralight or light rods. I'm not going to be going into the sort of heavier stuff, definitely BFS orientated stuff. Now these rods are going to be primarily available from AliExpress, Temu, Lazada, Amazon, places like that. I did a reel review, a reel tier list in the past. It had about 45 reels, and I got a few people asking me to do a rod version. Got a bit of time up my sleeve, so here we go. Got 5 categories. We've got highly recommended, so self-explanatory. Good value means the performance of the rod and the specs outweigh the cost. Good but pricey, good rod but maybe a little bit too expensive, so don't necessarily recommend that. An okay rod, okay value is just a meh kind of rod, and avoid, well, that is self-explanatory. Now, some of these images I'm gonna maybe have to have a think about because I don't know the names off the top of my head all the time, but I should do pretty well. Anyway, let's get cracking. Start off with the very first BFS rod that I ever bought, actually, the Ace Hawk AG Venom. Price-wise, it's reasonable. It's definitely not expensive. Definitely not super cheap, super value for money. So I'm going to put it in the good value category. If it was a little bit cheaper, I think I would put it in the highly recommended category. This is a slower rod. It's available in 5.6 and a 7-foot 3-piece. The action is a pretty slow action, so definitely a trout orientated rod. So that's the Ace Hawk AG Venom. This one is the Mavlos Bleeze. Now I'm gonna put this in, I'm actually kind of flirting with the bottom category. I'm gonna put it in okay, the okay category. I actually had a friend that reported that he actually loved it initially, and then after a little while, I believe there was an issue with the guides. The guide rings came out, something like that. Can't remember for sure, but this rod never really screamed to me like great value for money or anything like that. So I'm gonna put it in that okay category. The High Star Butterfly. Now this rod looks very nice, despite it not actually being yellow. It's more of a mustard color, and I did a review on it not too long ago. This is lacking guides big time, and I actually got it super cheap on Temu. I think it was like 30 Australian dollars, so something around the 20 US mark. So for that price, can't really complain, but it's lacking guides big time. I think it has does it have 6 guides possibly? I'm going to put it into the avoid category. This Semrio, I think this is the Semrio Phantom rod. Now I actually did a review on the Semrio Phantom reel, and I think the reel is really good for the price point. Costs 2 grams and it's super cheap as well, around that 20 US dollar mark. This rod's lacking guides. It's definitely not a premium rod. I'm gonna put this in the good value section because it's very affordable. Same goes for this rod. This I don't know what the model is, but this is a Semrio ultralight trout rod that comes in shorter sizes. I personally haven't used the rod, but just looked over the specs, looked over the price. I think it is going to be in this same category. Oh, this is the Phantom rod. I'm going to put it in this category for the same reasons that I put this rod in that category. The Surinoya Clever, beautiful looking rod. I've got the 4'6" or something spinning version. I don't know. It's a short one, but it's one of the better looking rods. It's got this abalone shell inlay. The coloring on the blank, that teal kind of color. Maybe there's a bit too much of that, but it is what it is. I'm gonna put it in this category. It doesn't scream value for money. It's a beautiful looking rod and a high quality rod, but I wouldn't pay whatever they're asking. Maybe it's $130, something like that. Pure Lure Creek Dance. one of my favorite rods. It's a slower rod. It's actually a little bit underrated in the power ratings. Underrated? Yeah, I've got a light version and it feels very, very light. Like I would say it's ultralight. It's a medium action rod. It's a slower rod, definitely more trout orientated, and it's very good money, value for money. Sometimes you can get them real cheap. I often see them, well, usually they're quite cheap, but sometimes they go real cheap. I'm going to put that in the highly recommended category because it's quality, looks good, nothing wrong with it, and the price is really good too. This is the Ace Hawk CU Double. I'm going to put this in the good value category. You know, this is one of the sort of OG popular BFS rods. This is a twin tip rod. It comes with a ultralight and a light tip, I believe. And aesthetics wise, you love it or you hate it. It looks like a cigar to me. That brown handle with the gold ring on the bottom. Not a huge fan of the looks, but in terms of the value for money, the performance, it's a twin tip rod. Definitely good value for money. And next is the Mavlos Delicacy. So this is also a sort of OG twin tipped rod. It's kind of like the rival to the CU Double. The price has dropped recently. Just based on the aesthetics, I'm gonna put it in the highly recommended category. It's got to be one of the highest selling rods on AliExpress. Yeah, same twin tip rod, medium and a light tip. Sorry, an ultralight and a light tip. Just really good value for money. If it's your first BFS rod, can't go wrong with it. Lengthwise, I think both of these may only come in 6 feet. Definitely not longer. Perhaps there's a 5'6" version in the Delicacy, but yeah, in terms of like a sort of stream orientated or a sort of jack of all trades, slower BFS rod, these are definitely recommended. What do we got here? Surinoya Dragon. This is sort of like, I guess, an entry into the more premium kind of feeling rods. I think, where am I going to put it? I'm not going to say it's expensive because it's, right now it's quite a bit cheaper than the Surinoya Clever. Good value. Yeah, I think it's good value. Surinoya, honestly, their gear is top notch. I think they're sort of like the Shimano of the CDM world. Yeah, it's a highly recommended rod. Well, I say that, but it's not so highly recommended that it goes in the highly recommended category. So I'll say it's a great performing rod and the price is good too. So if you choose to buy one, then I'm not gonna shame you for that. That's, you know, not a bad choice. This glass rod, it is really cheap. People are happy with it. I haven't tried this rod. I'm going to put it in the good value category. Yeah, it's very cheap and performs well. And if you're looking for a glass rod, short glass rod, then that would be a great option. What do we got here? Surinoya Elf Aging. I'm going to put it in the good but pricey category. I have the 8'2" version, whatever it is. I love the rod. It's around about 180-ish Australian dollars. So when you consider other options out there, you know, is something half the price of that, half the performance of this, or half the, you know, specs of this in terms of the components and that? No. So, you know, it's a great rod. If you're looking for a longer rod, 7'6" version, there's a Trout and an aging version. The Trout is a slower version, and the aging version is faster action, medium fast, I would say. And even the spinning model. Oh man, I'm thinking about getting the long spinning model because it's a beautiful looking rod, high quality rod. The guides are quite small. The what do you call them? Oh man, mental blank. Not the guide rings. Well, the guides themselves, yeah, they're black, which looks really cool. But you know, if you're looking for a first rod, or you know, I probably wouldn't look at this unless you are looking for specifically a long rod. Now, next one is the, oh, what's this bad boy called? The High Star, ooh, something wing? Maybe not. Anyway, regardless, it's a little bit of a pricier rod, probably the most expensive rod on this list so far. It's definitely going to go in this category. It looks sick. It's got that nice gun-shaped handle. But from what I've heard, it's a good performing rod, but yeah, it just doesn't, you know, scream that it's, you know, buy me kind of thing. Apart from the looks, you know, there's nothing in it that's, you know, so good that I would highly recommend it. Next one is the Hunt House Purelist. Now this rod I do have, it comes in ultralight and light. Well, actually, take that back. It comes in ultralight and extra ultralight. So 0.02 to 0.08 grams, I think, is the extra ultralight, and a ultralight one is something like 1 to 6 grams. Comes in a bunch of lengths as well, maybe 4 different lengths. Yeah, I think there's like maybe 5, 6, 6, and 6 feet 6, something like that. Spinning and casting if you're interested. I really like the rod. I have the extra ultralight 6'6" version, or whatever that longer length is. It's a very high quality rod and great value for money. I have to pay shipping for this one, so not sure if others have to pay shipping or whatever the deal is there. If you don't have to pay shipping for this, man, this is a really good rod. I would personally, I bought the extra ultralight rod because I never had something so light as that. So I was kind of curious, but I don't think I will be getting a lot of use out of the 6.6 extra ultralight. But regardless, for the price, very high quality rod. I really like it, highly recommended. Next one is the MeFine Illusion Slash. So this is a super popular extra ultralight spinning rod, and then they brought out a casting version, and I'm pretty sure it's lacking guides. From memory, the rod may have like twisted a little bit when under load, and the guides, the line kind of cut across the guides a little. Not really ideal. You know, it's kind of like a more expensive version of the Delicacy, but it's not twin tip, and you know, it's not that much different. I wouldn't have thought. I'm gonna put it into this category. I'm not gonna say avoid it, because it's not, you know, a bad rod, but I think it definitely belongs in that category. What do we got here? Surinoya Intruder, travel rod. I'm getting, yeah, from what I hear, this rod is excellent. I'm going to put it in the highly recommended. I don't personally have any experience with this rod, but some credible sources have said that they love the rod, so I trust them. It's going into the highly recommended. Cast King Zephyr. Now, it seems like a lot of Americans, maybe because they're available on Amazon, they tend to, you know, mention the Cast King Zephyr quite a bit. But if I'm honest, the Zephyr, it's the Zephyr reel. It's kind of irrelevant now. There's been so many reels that have come out in the last couple of years that have superseded it in terms of performance and being even cheaper, that the reel is kind of irrelevant. The rod, it's nothing special. I probably wouldn't buy it. I'm not going to say avoid, but I'm going to put it in the okay, an okay value category. Nah, nothing. Kingdom Silver Needle. Now, what was the price of this? It's a very interesting rod. Has a monocoque handle, fully silver. You know, that may or may not suit you. I personally am not really attracted to it. Value for money, it's going here. It performs well. It's just a meh rod. Okay, the Leo fishing rod. Don't know what it's called. It's the Leo fishing rod. Everybody knows it in the ultralight and BFS community. It's a super cheap rod. It's yeah, 5 pieces, as you can see in the image there, and it's ridiculously cheap. It's under 20 Australian dollars and definitely lives up to the well outperforms the price point. I'm going to go and highly recommend it. If you're looking for something on the really low budget end, that is the rod to go for. Actually, there may be a couple of others, but that one is very high on the list. Next one is the very popular Handing Magic L. So when did that come out? It was about 18 months ago, maybe not quite that long ago. But this came out and it made a big splash. It was really good value for money. Can't remember the price exactly. Maybe it was maybe it was 60 or maybe even less than 50 Australian dollars. So, you know, a lot of people jumped on it. It looks good, performs well. And then after a little bit of time, when, you know, the rod was quite popular, the prices got jacked up. And then at that point, I'm like, you know, avoid it, or, you know, it's a good rod, but avoid it because of the price. I just noticed recently the prices have gone back down on it. So I'm kind of, you know, where should I put it? It's flirting with, yeah, let's put it in the good value column. At the current price point, I think it's a solid option. Mavlos, Orca, there's a bunch, there's like 3 different spellings for this rod and variants of this rod. It's a short rod with a little monocoque handle. Looks okay. The guide wrapping is sort of like a rainbow color, which I would never buy. But it's, you know, I don't think it's good value for money. It's not overly popular. I feel like a lot of people that buy this rod are not necessarily people that do research, but they, you know, they browse on AliExpress and then they think, okay, the price is good and whatever, they end up buying one. But don't particularly like this rod. I'm going to put it in here. It's okay. Price is okay. Mavlos Plume. So this rod was, you know, famous for the reel test and his love of it. It is a fast taper rod. The butt section just above the handle is very thick. I did have one for a period of time, but my friend wanted it, so I gave it to him. It's pretty high quality. The price has come down a lot. I would say the original price of around about 110 Australian dollars, I believe, was where it was usually at. So say 70 US, something around there. That I would put it in the good but expensive category. But the price has gone down a bit. I don't think it's good enough to put into the good value category. I'm going to put it into this category still. But if you're looking for something that's really good at casting super light lures, then this may be the one. The reason being is it's quite a fast action and the tip diameter is very thin, maybe 0.8 millimeters off the top of my head. So you can really get that to load, you know, you can get those light lures to load the tip and launch those lures out. So if you're, you know, casting a gram and around about there, then this could be a good option. The Kingdom Micro Monster Creek Ultralight rod. Honestly, haven't heard much about this. Yeah, I don't know if it's like a super performer. I believe the guide count didn't, you know, wasn't that great. The price, for now, I'm going to put it in the good but expensive category. Lamorin Moying. So this rod might come under a bunch of different names, but if you notice the ones with the scorpion on that cork handle, it's the same rod. I would say. Maybe a different rod, but most likely it's the same rod. This rod is also super cheap. It's kind of like the Leo rod, but it's a 2-piece, and yeah, it's more of a light rod than an ultralight rod. The action is medium fast, I would say. The sensitivity is quite good. I'm going to put that in the highly recommended category. Again, if you're a first-time user, I would probably, if I was tossing up between the Lamorin and the Leo, I'd probably pick the Lamorin, unless the portability factor of being multi-piece was for you, then you would go the Leo. Otherwise, I would go the Lamorin. What have we got here? Oh, we have a double up. Oh, no, it's not a double up. I was going to say, oh, what's this me fine rod? This is the Beautiful Fishka. Now, this one is actually a knockoff of this guy. I do have this one. You can see the butt section is a little bit different, but mainly the aesthetics are more or less the same. And look, even the image, they've tried to replicate the image of the Illusion Slash. I have it in spinning and casting. I think it's very good value for money. It's not a great rod by any means, but it's good value for money. I'm gonna put it here because I don't have the MeFine one, but yeah, let's say they're more or less the same performance wise. The Beautiful is considerably cheaper, and even though it's a 0.02 to, what is the casting weight? It's really low. I've definitely casted on, it might be 0.02 to 0.08 or 0.02 to 2 grams, I think. And I've definitely casted heavier, like 6, like quarter, 1/8 ounce plastics and things like that. No issue at all. All right, pardon me. We got the Mavalos Resolute. Now this rod, from memory lengthwise, definitely comes in 6 foot, 6'10", and there might be some other length options. I have this rod, and it's a solid rod, that's for sure. I wouldn't say, oh, pardon me, phone's ringing. I wouldn't say it's great value for money. Ooh, I would put it in this category. It's a good rod. Price is just about right. You know, it's not exceedingly good and it's not exceedingly cheap. It just is what it is. The aesthetics are really good. Plain black, minimalist, kind of stealthy look. Love the look of the rod. And even if you were going to get a spinning version, yeah, it's pretty good. The Rollfish, it's got a strange Chinese name if you look on the rod blank, but let's just call this the, you know, split grip Rollfish wooden handle rod. From what I have heard from many people, they absolutely love the rod, and it is super cheap. So if you're wanting something that's a little faster, good sensitivity, I highly recommend grabbing this Rollfish rod. So, you know, so as opposed to the Lamorin, if you're looking for maybe something a little longer, a little bit of a different aesthetic, I would go for the Rollfish. Lure Star Sigma. Now, I paid something like $120 for it 2.5 years ago, maybe, for a 4'9" version. And then 6 months ago, I think Pure Lure have them on their store, and I think they're clearing them because the stock isn't getting replenished and the prices are going down all the time. Right now, I don't know if there's a lot of models available. Maybe there's a 6 foot available and maybe something shorter. But I actually have a 7'3" version of it as well. The price is insane. I saw it the other day. It was $28. I messaged a friend and said, hey, $28, just buy this rod. Like, even if you don't really need it, it's a nice to have rod. It looks absolutely stunning. I highly recommend it. But on the proviso that you can get a length that you like. And also, that rod is also a little bit under had this thought before. It's underrated. No, it's overrated. It's overrated. The light rods are definitely light. Let's just say that. So I would go for a light one over an ultralight one if you're trout stream fishing. Yeah, anyway, High Star Solomon 2. Some people like this rod. Again, it's not really a rod that screams value for money or performance. I don't have too much to say about it because I haven't experienced the rod, so I'm going to put it in this category. I think that's pretty fair. Start Lure Zaco. You can find this on the Semrio store, as you can with other rods that say Start Lure on them. Not sure if there's a relationship there or if they're just reselling Start Lure branded rods. But you can pick these up really cheap. I would check Temu possibly, and check AliExpress, and make sure you do an image search, because there's a few stores that have these and you can get them really cheap. When I initially saw it, I was like, wow, that rod looks sick. It's got the same, you know, fast taper like the Mavlos plume, but it comes in a shorter length, and it just looks really cool. Even though I'm not a fan of red, when I had the rod, it just looked like, I don't know, it looked like a sports car, like a Ferrari. It's quite a nice looking rod. It's not as glossy as the plume, bit of a matte color, but yeah, looks really sick. You can get these super cheap right now. I reckon I saw them for like $40, free shipping, something like that. So I'm definitely going to put this in the good value category. Yeah, shorter rod. They come in a few lengths, I believe, not just 5-6. But yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to buy that rod. Same goes with the Kingdom Stream King. I have this. Haven't done much stream fishing lately, to be honest. So, you know, I bought a few stream rods around the time where I had my first stream fishing session. And this one was really cheap. It was like 45 Australian dollars. Good quality rod, wooden handle. Seems like a real... Pardon me, might take a drink. You guys got this overseas? Lychee fizzy, real nice. Yeah, high quality rod, wooden handle. The grip is tapered. It's definitely good value at its current price point. I'm gonna whack it in there. The Pure Lure, pardon me, Pure Lure Titanium T, pretty new rod. Seems to be a lot of interest around it. Posted a couple of videos and surprisingly got quite a few views on those videos, so there's definitely some interest in it. It's a short ultralight, extra ultralight BFS rod with a titanium tip. The price is really good. You know, Pure Lure rods, I generally, you know, seem to think of them as rods that are more like $150, $180, something like that. So when they teased that this rod was coming out, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be $150. It might be good, but, you know, maybe I won't buy one because of the price point. But it's $90, or it's definitely under $100. So if you're looking for a 5'6", slightly faster trout stream rod, I would definitely go for this one. I'm going to put it in the highly recommended. It's got good recovery. The titanium tip it's got good sensitivity. You'd have to go back to the review video. I can't remember exactly what I said, but yeah, for the price, it's a very nice premium rod for the price point. We've got 4 more here. Try and wrap it up pretty quickly. Surinoya Dexterity, another kind of classic rod, like, oh, pardon me, like the Surinoya Dragon. This is also a really light casting rod. Nothing screams, you know, that it's good value to me. I'm going to say good, but a little pricey. That's when you factor in all the other things. It's definitely a high quality rod. But, you know, it wouldn't be very high on my list of, you know, things I would look at if I'm looking for a extra ultralight, an ultralight rod. Yeah, I'd put it here. But if you're in love with the aesthetic and you want to buy something that's good quality, then I would buy one. What do we got here? Oh, this is the Surinoya Master. So this is a rod that's not terribly popular. It's a premium rod. I'm definitely going to put it in the same category as the Dexterity. Hobie1 Kenobi has a review video on this rod. Surinoya, high quality stuff, looks really good. It's a more expensive rod. I wouldn't put it super high on my priority list either. But, you know, if you liked the look of the rod and it, you know, fits what you are trying to do fishing wise, then I'd get the rod. You know, if you're the kind of person that likes to, you know, you don't do a whole variety of different fishing techniques and stuff, like, you know what your bread and butter is. You're going to be doing creek fishing with, you know, these kind of lures, or stream fishing for trout with these types of lures, and you just want to buy something, you know, buy one rod, you know, use it for a few years, just be happy with it, something that's good quality, then that would be the rod. But if you're like me and you're a bit of an addict, then it's, you know, kind of not the rod to buy, because, you know, it probably would hardly get used and it's quite expensive. This is the Mavlos Ultima. This rod is also in a similar vein to the Zaco and the Plume in terms of it's got that thick taper. Now, this rod's good value for money, and to this day, I still feel that this rod is actually the most sensitive of any of the rods that I've tried. Just with bottom contact techniques, you know, with those little cheb weights or dragging the lure, the sensitivity on this rod is really good. I personally, I'm not really a huge fan of the aesthetics. This image is probably a little bit misleading. It's a darker rod. I've got a review video on it. You'll be able to see it there. Probably an unboxing video on it as well. The cork handle does feel nice. You know, the components aren't terribly premium or anything like that. It's got a little carbon fiber ring there, which I probably would get rid of. Not because I don't like carbon fiber and anything like that, but that's just sort of something a little bit cheap that could have issues perhaps. So I would just go for a plain cork handle. But yeah, this comes in a few lengths, 5, 6, and 6 feet, I think. Definitely a good rod. I would say it's kind of like the Lamorin Moying in a way, a little bit more stout, a little bit more expensive, but yeah, they're different rods. They're quite similar. But yeah, you get the point. All right, very last rod. Coincidentally, it is maybe my favorite rod. I don't know. I could say it's my favorite rod, but honestly, I don't know the last time I used it. Not because I dislike it or anything like that, but just because I'm always reviewing different rods and, you know, having to do that. So I can't really, you know, go back to old rods. I really want to do that, to be honest. Pure Lure Zero. I have the 7'6" version. So this is another long rod that's like the Alpha Aging. But it also comes in shorter versions. It's not really a stream fishing rod. It's a fast action rod. The lower section and middle section are quite stiff, but it's got good sensitivity. It's good at light casting. The aesthetics are good. It's got a monocoque handle. The butt section is quite slim. It's a very high quality rod. This one is interesting as to where to put it. I'm not going to say it's expensive. I'm going to put it in good value. All right, so to wrap things up, let's just smash through the rods really quickly, just so I can sort of double check that I've got everything right. And by the way, if you guys have any more rods that you want to see on this list, maybe in 6 months time, we'll, you know, add those rods, maybe even in 3 months time, whatever. See how it goes. We'll add the rods. Give me your feedback. You may be able to convince me one way or the other if something should go up the list, down the list, that type of thing. But just to wrap things up, Pure Lure Creek Dance, yeah, highly recommended. Mavalos Delicacy OG, Hunt House Pureless, out of the extra ultralight rods, highest quality with the best value. Surinoya Intruder, I just, based on what I've heard, they highly recommend it, so I'm going to whack it in the highly recommended. Leo rod is the best ultra cheap rod, so that's definitely got to go in there. If you've got kids, by the way, even if it's a spinning version, just go grab that Leo rod. Lamorin Moying, you know, same as the Leo. It's not as obscenely cheap. Like the Leo rod's like under $15 at times. It's just crazy. Where the Lamorin is like $20. Oh, I just bought a Subway for you guys that have Subway. I bought a Subway footlong today. It was like $15. That's more expensive than the Leo rod. Rollfish, faster rod. I can highly recommend that one. I probably would have picked one up if it wasn't for the postage. Lure Star Sigma, ridiculously cheap. If you can get a model that suits your needs at the super cheap price right now, can't go wrong with that rod. Pure Lure Titanium, yeah, definitely good value for money. Only about $90. Yeah, it's unique, definitely. Ooh, Ace Hawk AG Venom. I'm actually considering popping this. I'm going to pop this into the highly recommended. We're going to pop that into the highly recommended. It's, yeah, high quality, pretty good. The price is spot on. The price is fair. It's definitely not expensive. I'm going to put it in there. Really like that rod. And we'll just go the Semrio rods. They got the... what's this bad boy? CU Double, the Dragon. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with those right now. I'm kind of surprised I'm putting only one in a void, but yeah. Anyway, guys, if you liked the video, leave a comment and a like. Just tell me, please, have I forgotten any rods? Surely I've forgotten 10 rods at least. There is tons of rods on AliExpress, and they can be quite tricky to find unless you know them off the top of your head. So if you know them, put them down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. That's my phone ringing. I gotta get out of here. Catch you next time. Yeah.